About a month ago, we did a video on a company called Defi Technologies, symbol DEFTF, and it's a publicly traded stock that is bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. And when we last spoke about it, it was around $1.55 per share. Currently, it is up another 50% in the last month, and it's trading right around $2.13 per share. This company has announced major things recently in their Q2 earnings report, which exceeded everyone's expectations. They recently also applied to be listed on the NASDAQ, which would bring a lot more exposure to the stock. And with everything going on in the crypto market, I am extremely bullish on this stock right now, because ultimately, if you are anyone who is invested in the stock market, whether you're an institution, a retail investor, there aren't many options for you to get exposure in the crypto space. There's a Bitcoin ETF, there's Ethereum ETF, and really that's about it. But if you want to get exposure to some of the smaller altcoins in the crypto space, you need to do this through something called an ETP. And Defi Technologies, one of their subsidiaries, is called Valor, and Valor is providing ETPs and ABS prospectus and KYC cleared listed equity products such as BTC, ETH, and Solana, and a lot more. And so basically their subsidiary Valor is one of the premier companies for getting exposure to smaller altcoins in the crypto space if you're an investor in the stock market. And ultimately, you could go over to Valor's website. You could see how they have all these different ETPs that give retail investors and institutions the ability to invest in crypto just through the stock market, through a publicly traded product. So they have like Avalanche, they have Binance, they have Bitcoin. You could see that they have diversified indexes as well. They have single assets ranging from Chainlink to Core. The list goes on and on. So really, as we have seen a lot more interest in the crypto space from institutions, I'm expecting Valor to just continue to get more and more assets under management as institutions continue to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into the crypto space, whether that's going to be through, an ETF, whether that's Bitcoin or Ethereum, or if they want to get exposure to some smaller cap projects, they could do that with Valor's ETPs. So ultimately, Defi Technologies is like the umbrella company. They are the umbrella company that has a bunch of different subsidiaries. And if we click on this right here, we can see corporate structure. It says, look, Defi Technologies is like the main company that owns a bunch of different subsidiaries. You can see wholly owned subsidiaries are Reflexivity Research, which is a leading research firm specializing in the creation of high-quality, in-depth research reports for the cryptocurrency industry. This is a company that actually was recently acquired by Defi Technologies. They acquired it back in early 2024. It was co-founded by Anthony Pompliano and Will Clemente, big names in the crypto space. You could see that in terms of Reflexivity Research, they've been doing major things in terms of, providing and analytics and analysis on crypto topics and cryptocurrencies. And Pompliano actually also came out in his recent letter, and he said, look, in the Pomp letter, which has tens of thousands of subscribers, he said, look, I'm bullish on Defi Technologies. Yes, he obviously did get acquired by them, but he says, look, Defi Technologies has a subsidiary called Valor Asset Management, which we just briefly touched on. This organization's strategy is to create ETPs in non-US markets for the long tail of cryptocurrency assets. The thesis is that investors in traditional markets and on Wall Street want exposure to potential 10x, 100x opportunities just as much as everyone else in the crypto space does, but they want to do it through a regulated product. So that is where Valor comes into place, because ultimately, Valor is holding crypto native assets in these ETPs. And like I said, there's only Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, but if you want to get exposure to smaller cryptocurrencies, the only way that you could do that is buying them directly, which institutions are not going to do, or you could get it through an ETP. So the cool thing about these ETPs is that instead of charging less than 50 basis points, as we see for Bitcoin ETFs and many ETFs on the market, Valor charges 1.5% or higher to manage these different ETPs that they have. And you can see all the fees listed right here. So this is going to generate even more revenue for them. So if you think institutions are going to want exposure to some sort of cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin, outside of Ethereum, they're going to turn towards these ETPs. And in exchange, Valor is going to generate more revenue because there's higher fees. And that is going to ultimately drive the price of DEFTF higher. So their stock price higher. In addition to this, what we have recently seen is that recently they filed a form with the SEC. They filed a Form 40-F registration statement, and ultimately this is a form that they filed with the SEC to get listed on the NASDAQ. And this has been because, they've had their stock price increase, they've reached certain market cap and different financial milestones, and so now after filing this 40-F, I think it's going to be a matter of time before we see the NASDAQ approve DeFi Technologies for listing, because right now they're just on the OTC markets, but I think they're going to get approved on the NASDAQ soon, and this is going to drive, potentially hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars more in exposure, simply from exposure into DeFi Technologies. In addition to this, if we look at what is going on with this recent announcement, so like I said, just about 2 weeks ago, they filed this form. We can also see that they talked a little bit about Bitcoin treasury play. One thing that DeFi Technologies did, and we touched on this briefly in our last video about a month ago, but one thing that DeFi Technologies did is that they adopted a Bitcoin treasury strategy, and this was in June of 2024. So they announced in June of 2024 that the purchase of 110 BTC as part of a Bitcoin treasury strategy and repayment of $5 million in debt. You can see that in addition to just owning Bitcoin as part of their treasury, they also own a number of other cryptocurrencies as part of this treasury strategy. They have, for example, like Core, they have Solana, and they have a number of different cryptos as part of this strategy. We can see they talk a little bit about this in their recent Q2 report for their earnings. And if we just go right here, we could see their official Q2 earnings report, which they released in August 14th. So just, about a month ago. And in this report, they talk about this Bitcoin treasury strategy where it shows, look, they have 110 BTC totaling around around 6.7 US dollars as part of its treasury position. They also have 12,755 Solana, 1.5 million Core, and they said that they also already had around 90 or so Bitcoin. So they have a total of 204 Bitcoin, almost 13,000 Solana, around 1.5 million Core tokens, and these are tokens that they own in their digital asset treasury position, this strategy that they've talked about. So if you're bullish on Core, this is a project that I've been extremely bullish on for a long time. This is one of the reasons I'm bullish on it, because we're seeing a lot of institutions invest in it. Solana, they have a pretty big position there, and also with BTC. If we're looking at other things in terms of their Q2 earnings report, there's a lot of exciting things because their total revenues actually increased to $98 million for Q2 of 2024, which was a significant improvement from only $5.4 million in revenue in the same exact period in 2023. So $5.4 million in revenue in 2023 for Q2 to $98 million. That is about a 20x increase, which is unheard of for a publicly traded stock. That's something that's really, really impressive. They also had $14.2 million cash balance at the end of the quarter versus just $4.2 million in their cash balance as of the end of last year. So all of these major increases in terms of cash balance, in terms of their treasury positions, in terms of their revenue, make me extremely excited about this stock. And if you couple this with the fact that the crypto market has seen a lot of exciting developments take place recently, the market looks like it's turning back around. A lot of people are projecting very bullish sentiment for Q4 of 2024. Historically, that's usually a pretty bullish time in the market, Q4, especially on an election year. So all of these things make me very excited about DeFi Technologies. I think right now it's currently around a $600 million market cap company. I think we could easily see this, do 3-4x over the next year, especially with current market conditions. So just keep an eye out on this. We've seen major hedge fund managers talk about this company, saying how it's the next Carvana. We've seen, how they've applied to be listed on the NASDAQ. There's really just so much to be excited about. And if you're just looking at it in terms of 6 months performance, it's up 344%. Year-to-date performance up 300%. 1-year performance up 2,200%. 5-year performance up 10,000%. So there's really just a lot to be excited about with DeFi Technologies. And if you're an investor in any stock, this would be one that I would definitely keep in your portfolio, considering everything going on in crypto right now.